fixed easy payments means you can get this piece home for $10. And this, you say, was modeled after one of the most expensive bracelets to come out of Tiffany's?
It is. Actually, it was originally that. Grace Kelly, of course, was an actress. Grace Kelly was beautiful. But there were a lot of beautiful actresses, particularly in the 40s and 50s when she was very, very popular. What made her different is that she was a different looking woman. There was something about her. She was different. She wasn't the beautiful, she wasn't a Marilyn Monroe or Rita Hayworth.
She wasn't like the pinup kind of girl.
She wasn't that type. She was the kind of girl you'd bring home to mother. And she was different. And because of that, there were a lot of men of very, very high level that fell in love with her. And one of them was a prince. Not this prince, there was one before him. And the prince that fell in love with her, his name was Prince Karam Khan. And Karam Khan was very much in love. He saw her in the movies, and he said, this is the woman I have to marry. Through a friend of a friend, he made an arrangement for have a dinner. After all, he was a prince. And she accepted. She had dinner, but never had dinner by herself. She always had a chaperone. That was the proper thing for a lady to do. And in this particular time, the chaperone was her sister Peggy, and an older sister. And they went to the dinner with Prince Karam, and he's talking, and he was very personable, very nice. He reaches into his pocket, and he takes out this bracelet. And she said, oh, I can't accept that. He said, no, wait, I want to marry you.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
And she said, I just met you. This is the first time. And she really had a bit of a giggle on her.
Sure.
She wouldn't. And one of the big reasons was he was 17 years old.
Out.
17.
And she's 24. They might as well be completely different generations
absolutely.
at that time. Yeah.
And she tried to be very nice to him, and she hands back the bracelet. He says, no, I understand. You keep this, but every time you wear this in the future, you think of me. And she did. And she continued to wear it. It was a Tiffany bracelet. It was Tiffany London that this was made. Actually, probably made in France because of the guillocheting that's on it. And we'll show you that very carefully. But it is a beautiful piece. The original was done in 18-karat gold with sapphires, diamonds, and the long strips on the side is called guillocheting. Guillocheting, if you look at it, you can see a beautiful design underneath. And you're looking through enamel. Only the French knew how to do it, especially at that time. It was only done by Tiffany's. No one else could do it. Tiffany's had the secret of how you can guilloche. And now, of course, we know how to do it, and we can see through the enamel as you look into it. This is the prince that she finally married, Prince Rainier III, and you can see the bracelet that she's wearing. He knew the story of it, and when he asked her to marry and she was coming over from Monaco, he said, please leave all your jewelry behind. And he said, I have some special pieces for you. And she said, there's a couple of pieces that are special to me and I will bring them. She brought about 15 pieces
and this was
of jewelry.
One of them.
And this was one of them because it was such a special piece. It's a piece that she wore at different times. It's actually, she wore it, this is in a movie that she made after Prince Karim had given it to him. The prince eventually became, Prince Karim Khan eventually became the Aga Khan. And it was only about 4 years later he became the Aga Khan. If you remember the name the Aga Khan and you're thinking, and we talked about this before the show, if you remember the name the Aga Khan and you're thinking about a womanizer and somebody who had a lot of wives, that was his father. That wasn't him. Look at that.
Know.
Can we go back to that shot again?
Yeah.
That is so beautiful,
Look
so
at
perfect. You can see in here, you can see that design is under the enamel, under it. And you can actually see through it. It is a perfect representation of guillocheting, something that only Tiffany could do in the 1950s, 60s, and even in the late 70s, no one had caught on how to do that. It was such a secret.
I love
it
the
is
deep
French.
blue with the sapphire. That's like a Montana sapphire.
It is.
Like
the sapphire is, but of course this was done, supposedly bought in London, but we think it was made in France, at Tiffany in France. It comes with a 1-inch extension because all jewelry at that time had an extension. So it's either 8 inches or 7 inches. You don't have to ask which is which. It also comes in a beautiful steel box, and we'll talk to you about that and where the boxes come from. And it is a perfect representation of the piece of jewelry that she had. From a prince to a beautiful, beautiful movie star.
And it looks like you spent thousands of dollars when it was